Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today we're going to be talking about my top 30 fragrances for life. This is the first part, and this is the fresher fragrances. So I'm going to be talking about 15 fragrances for life, so stay tuned for that. If you like top 10 lists, fragrance reviews, cologne comparisons, and first impressions, hit that subscribe button for more great content. So, I'm actually moving, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to buy a bunch more fragrances recently. Not only do I want to use what I have, but I don't want to move with a ton of fragrances. That being said, I'm trimming my collection down to 30 fragrances. Yes, 30. Now, I don't have a long way to go. I have about 55 fragrances when we're talking about full bottles here, or partial bottles in my collection. So it's not a huge trim down, but it has been something I've had to put some thought into, and I'm going to get right into it. Top 15 for the fresh, or sorry, top 30, but this is the 15 fresh ones. I've kind of got a spring, summer, and then a fall, winter is kind of how I decided to divide it. Number 15, none other than By the Yuzu Grove. Now, here's one that I think certainly had mixed reviews when it came out. Some people really liked this one, some people didn't. I do enjoy it, although it's not exactly what I was really originally hoping for. I wanted it to be a little bit more bitter, a little bit more tart. There is a little bit of that here, but I do find that I get a lot more of the lemon than the actual yuzu. But there is this really cool yuzu cocktail, which has a sort of a liquidy vibe to it. Sort of like, it's like, I find some boozy fragrances to be almost aquatic in the way that they feel, just because that's how the booziness comes off. And that's what you get here. So it doesn't really smell like alcohol, but it does get this sort of liquidy vibe. It does have a little bit of a woody green vibe to it too. It is a really nice one, good for the warmer weather, and I do enjoy it. So I'm bringing that one along with me. I should note, one of the things that did go into my mind, I will talk about the ones that I'm leaving behind. Some of the ones I'm leaving behind, really, it's because they're almost empty, but some of them I'm leaving behind because I don't really use them that much. Next on the list, and there is a relative order to this list, so of course as we get towards the top, we're going to get towards more of my favorite. Galloway by Parfums de Marly. To me, this is a really nice, easy to wear, clean, fresh fragrance, a little bit of pepper in it, and it does have this really nice, clean musk. It has iris in it, quite apparently, but I don't really pick up any of that powderiness or that lipsticky vibe at all. It really just comes off as a nice, clean musk fragrance. Very easy to wear, very office friendly. In fact, it's very professional. That's one of the things I like about it. But it's also easy to wear on a casual day because it is just a very nice, clean, musky fragrance. Very versatile. Projection, performance, also very good. So for the kind of fresh fragrance that it is, it lasts a long time, like 8+ hours. And it does, in the opening, give off this really nice sort of fresh water vibe that I do really enjoy with this one. Next one, Winwood by Mancera. So this is one I do talk about periodically, and it does remind me a little bit of He-Man Rocky Mountain. If you're familiar with that fragrance, it does have a really strong violet vibe. It does have this really nice breezy feel to it. That's what you get with this, but it also has a little bit of greenness and a little bit of woodiness in the dry down, but it is, again, mostly that breezy violet. Again, really nice, a little bit of sweetness too. Really nice, definitely unique if you overlook that it does smell like He-Man Rocky Mountain. Beast Mode Performer, really nice one. Do enjoy this one. Next one from the list, Chanel Allure Homme Sport. This one really could be a fall fragrance too. I mean, especially if you're not going to be out in the freezing cold too. This works, I think, in winter. Very versatile fragrance. Really good from the house of Chanel. It is the first of the Allure Homme Sport fragrances. And it is it's not the one I like the most, but it is definitely my second favorite. A lot of people prefer Eau Extreme. I like this one because it's not as sharp smelling. It does have this really nice sort of creamy, lightly aquatic vibe in the opening. And, it does have a little bit of this lemon meringue in the mid dry down, and it does have a very nice, creamy, sweet dry down, which is nice also because it's a summer fragrance with a little bit of a sweet vibe to it that is quite a bit different. So there's that one as well. Moving into, I suppose it would be the number 11 spot. I could potentially put this one higher, but I do really enjoy this one. It's Aquatica by Genre Parfums. It's just so good. It's a really nice inspiration of Arolfa, basically. And so if you do like Arolfa, you don't like the price, or you dislike the performance, I really like Aquatica as a substitute. Main reason, again, performance. This one lasts a lot longer. I get a couple hours as basically a skin scent whenever I tried Arolfa. I know some people get fantastic performance with it. I do not. My skin does not agree with it. Agrees with this one. I even get a little bit of that saltiness. That's just very nice marine vibe. And I mean, if you smelled Arolfa, it's probably one of the most underrated creeds in my opinion. Creed, Arolfa, and Viking are my two favorite for sure. But anyways, this one is coming with me for sure. So moving on into the list, I'm going to go with also Bleu de Chanel. This is a nice versatile fragrance, but it's one that I don't wear enough, and I do actually really enjoy it. So I'm hoping I'm definitely going to be wearing more of it. I have put a nice dent in it. It is approaching halfway done, but it's such a nice, pleasing, versatile fragrance. Easy to wear, easy to like, high quality fragrance. Has that, shower gel clean vibe. Everyone knows the sort of Bleu DNA. Largely thanks to Bleu de Chanel, but at the end of the day, this is such an amazing fragrance. And even now when I pick it up and I pull it out, you know what? I really like this one. Still, sometimes certainly does surprise me and make me a little bit wow. So I really like that one. Next one on the list, Encre Noire Sport. Now this is my favorite from the line. If you hear me talking about Encre Noire, I'm usually talking about the Sport. And I like this one because it has a little bit of an aquatic vibe, a little bit of a fresh opening, and it has this nice woody vetiver vibe that creeps into this nice marshy feel. And at the end, it dries down into a bit of a soapy fragrance, a woody soapy. Now, it doesn't have at all that really earthy vibe, although it does manage to still be dark. It does have a little bit of inkiness in the opening, but it doesn't really have the earthiness that you'd find in Aller Extreme. So if you really like that, you won't like this one as much. But this is my favorite from the line, and I think the easiest to like. Very likable Encre Noire Sport. Next one, thank you to Dan Spanos for giving me the fantastic deal on this fragrance, Acqua di Gio Profumo. In some ways, I kind of like Profondo more, but Profumo is, I have this already, got a really good price on this bottle, and it's so versatile, so easy to wear, and so likable. It's just this very nice, salty aquatic. So I get this nice sort of salty ocean breeze kind of a vibe with this one, and it's very easy to wear, don't have to think about it, versatile, easy to like, not going to offend anybody. And like I said, really good one. Performs a long time. A little bit more masculine than the other one just because it does have that patchouli. It's incense. It's slightly darker. But again, good performance in this one. 8+ hours. Very nice. Gets you through the day. Works really well. Next one, probably no surprise to a lot of people if you watch the channel. Wood Neroli. And this is one of those fragrances where if you like, Neroli Portofino, those types of fragrances, this is a really fantastic one. It is a similar vibe. It does have this nice Neroli fresh opening, and it does have a really a good woody dry down. I will say, as I've said before, sometimes I find the dry down a little generic feeling, as I do get that sometimes with some brands or some kinds of cedar. But this one, still very good, and I think I got this for about $40, which is a really good price. So really enjoy that one as well. So I believe we're on to the top 4. There's only 4 left. I am going to start with, I think, actually, Nishane Sultan Vetiver. This one is, in many ways, the king of vetiver fragrances. It has every aspect, almost, of vetiver. I don't get any soapiness whatsoever from this fragrance. So it does have a nice, slightly citric opening with this earthy, woodsy vibe. And it does get a lot as it moves into it. It gets that nice marshy vibe that I like. So it smells like a stroll through a nice marsh or something. And again, comes back to a nice vetiver dry down. It does have a little bit of smokiness in there too. At times a little bit inky. But ultimately, this is a really good vetiver fragrance. Nice gentleman's fragrance. It is one for somebody who really wants something very vetiver heavy. So often I would suggest trying, Encre Noire Sport first if you're looking for those vetiver heavy fragrances. If you know that you like them, definitely get your nose on this one because it is Really, really fantastic. Now, next, number 3 spot, none other than my airplane fragrance, and maybe I'll wear this one on the airplane. That is Terre de Hermes Eau Très Fraiche. Love this one a lot. This one opens up with a nice, fresh, juicy orange. Actually, a little bit aquatic even, and a very liquidy feeling orange all around. But it does come back a little bit to that bitter, kind of dirty orange that Terre de Hermes is known for, although it is definitely a little bit more fresh. I find the orange is a little bit more up top than anything else. Does definitely beat out that vetiver feel. Doesn't have the pepperiness of the original, but it does still have a nice woody dry down as well. And, you know, it's just easy to wear, but it's different, it's enjoyable, and I do really like this one. I think it is underrated for sure. Even from the line, you know, Terre de Hermes is a popular fragrance, but it is also one that I think not a ton of people really wear compared to things like Bleu de Chanel or Sauvage or other really popular designer fragrances. But this one, also very, very good. And if you do like those really fresh, a little bit tart, bitter orange fragrances or bitter citrusy fragrances, check this one out for sure. Along that lines, in that vein, of course, one of my newest acquisitions, in fact, my newest, Allure Homme Sport Cologne. Now this is actually to me very, very different from the rest of the line. It really is in many ways, you know, its own thing. The only really thing that I get the same with this is it has lemon in it, and the lemon is very, very strong, and it's nice because it manages to have lemon without smelling like cleaner. A lot of lemon fragrances smell like cleaning products, but this one manages to avoid that quite well. It does have orange, does have neroli, and those are really the 3 main things from this fragrance. Very in-your-face citrusy fragrance, bright, fresh, uplifting, really, really good. A little bit of tartness with that orange too, which I also really like. Of course, as I always complain with every tart fragrance, I would like it to be a little tartar, last a little bit longer as well. But man, if you like lemon and orange and neroli, this is one to check out. Performance pretty good, around that 6-hour mark. It's not beast mode projector. It does project pretty well for the first 2 hours or so. It's not beast mode, but it definitely does pretty well for the type of really, really fresh fragrance that it is. And now we are into the number 1 fragrance. And might not surprise anyone who's watched the channel which one that is. That's Sedley. Really, this could have been between Sedley or Terre de Hermes or Très Fraiche or even Allure Homme Sport. Or even, actually, you know what? I think I missed one. I did miss one. I'm going to put it as the new number 1. This is number 2. And the other one does, in many respects, beat this one out. So, you know what? That's okay. Sedley, this is probably my favorite fresh Parfums de Marly. Beast Mode, this is the 2020, absolutely ridiculous performance in this one. In fact, it's almost too much. I've gotten complaints with this one being too strong, definitely. And it is one that I get a lot of sillage from. I wear it and then, you know, I put this one on, driven downtown, hung out with someone for 2-3 hours. On the way back home, driving back, I'm getting whiffs of it in the car. Like, it is that strong of a fragrance, and that's with 2 sprays. So this one is absolutely crazy. 2019 was basically a skin scent, but this has the exact same, at least to my recollection, fragrance. You know, it has this bright, fizzy soda, like, not like soda pop, but that fizzy pop that soda has. It has that with it. Very, very nice crispiness from the mint, very fresh overall, and it has a very nice woody dry down. That freshness, that crispiness does actually last a really, really long time. Definitely into the 5-6 hour range before it does become more of just a woody fragrance, but very, very nice all around. And if you do want to try a fresher fragrance from Parfums de Marly, this is my personal recommendation as number 1, and of course Galloway is number 2. Greenlee's alright, Percival's alright. I know a lot of people love both those fragrances, and they are worth checking out if you do like Parfums de Marly or you're looking for a fresher fragrance. Now, number 1, which again, I know I did say this is ordered. This does definitely or could easily be a number 1 for me. This is more of an all-around fragrance, although I probably wouldn't wear it in the summer. Definitely spring, fall, winter, and that is none other than Creed Viking. It is a little bit fresher, especially in the opening. I find that, yes, it does have spice to it. So I think, you know, in the high heat, it's not really the best, but it does have a lot of freshness, cooling with the mint. It has a nice rose note in it too, which I really, really like when rose is done well for a men's fragrance. It doesn't come off feminine whatsoever. It's just a nice, classy bit of character to it, adds some nice depth to the fragrance, and ultimately really, really enjoy this one. Performance, you know, around that 8-hour mark. Do like this one. And you know what, guys, watch Costco if you're in the United States or even in Canada. I have seen occasionally really good fragrances online in Canada. Look online. I got this for $160, which to me is worth it at that price point. I would not buy this for retail. It's crazy. But, you know, for the price point that it was offered at, I think it's really, really great. And you can find some really, really good fragrance deals at Costco. Anyways, guys, that is my top 15 fragrances for summer, fresher, spring, summer. 15 to go. Those are the thicker, heavier, cooler weather fragrances. So I will be doing a video on that. And I'm going to talk about in another video probably what's to become of the fragrances that I'm not bringing with me. As you will be surprised if you know my collection. There's some heavy hitters that I am not bringing along with me. So if you had to pick, I don't know, 15, a quarter of your collection, if you had to take a quarter of your collection as fresh fragrances, you know, what would you pick? That could be a lot, so maybe just list a couple fragrances if you had to pick from your collection that are fresher, spring, summer fragrances. What would they be? Leave a comment down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.